Well, hi friends. It's another edition of the Chili Report. I kind of have this spooky lighting in honor of Halloween. Actually, I'm in Atlanta visiting the World of Coke. I'm downtown here, and last night I just walked to dinner like 2 blocks, and I was almost killed twice. Like there are these guys just biking on the sidewalk, crowded sidewalk, at like 40 miles an hour. Almost ran me over. And then I'm standing at a stoplight about to cross the street, just minding my own business. And it was right outside a Hooters. And a guy comes up behind me and says, "Don't be afraid of me, man." And my butt cheeks clenched up like Richard Simmons at Mardi Gras.
That's where it happened, right there.
That would have been awkward too, like if he had killed me right there, you know? Because then my new wife would have gotten a call. By the way, your husband was killed just after eating at Hooters. I mean, your husband was killed right outside of Hooters. I'd never eat there, I'd never. But it was just a good game, this Vikings 49ers game. It was just entertaining game to watch. 100% kind of exciting the whole way through. More of that attacking defense. You saw that on the first drive the 49ers had after the Cousins interception. Forced a fumble. I think it was McCaffrey who even fumbled. And there's all these purple jerseys just swarming that ball on the ground, which a lot of times you don't see in the past with the Vikings. And that's a sign your team is really hungry. Even one play when they rushed only 3, they sacked Purdy. That was good. In fact, the Vikings defense was so hot that like late in the first half, they decided they only needed 8 guys on the field. And I think that pressure finally affected Purdy late. He threw those 2 late interceptions. But the first one was like really bad. I don't even know who he was throwing it to. The pressure must have gotten his head a little. He probably threw it early. So I think Brian Flores has definitely made an impact on this Vikings defense. I have a couple of lessons I want to provide, and I may turn this into like a master class because these are very, very deep. The first lesson is yards do not equal points. Put another way, yards are not proportional to points. There is some correlation between yards and points, but yards do not equal points. A lot of Vikings fans like to say, well, Kirk Cousins has thrown for more yards in the first 7 weeks than anybody in history.
Well, Lottie frickin' da!
Those are not points. Second lesson, points are more important than yards. This is way out there. I know I'm going out on a limb, very controversial. Points are more important than yards. My third lesson is the team that scores the most touchdowns usually wins. And so when you take all this together, the Vikings scored a couple of fairly long touchdowns. But they only had 2 touchdowns. Okay, the first one was, I don't remember how long. I think it was like a 20-yard touchdown pass to Addison. Very nice play, nice throw. Everything about that play was great. Then the second touchdown again to Addison was very subpar throw from Cousins, thrown kind of at the defender. Defender should have probably intercepted it, but Addison took it away from him, which is something we don't see usually out of any receivers on the Vikings other than Justin Jefferson. Like we've seen where KJ Osborne or Hockenson aren't very good at that. But he took it away from him and ran for a touchdown. So that was another long touchdown. If you're a passing team, you got to go to the end zone before you're inside the 10-yard line or inside the 5-yard line. Because it becomes harder. You got to go for the throat if you're a passing team. Go for that end zone. I also had on that long Jordan Addison touchdown at the end of the first half. I'm sure if that pass had been intercepted, if Addison hadn't won that battle, people would be saying that interception was on Addison and it wasn't Cousins' fault, which is crap. But if people did say that, then the touchdown, the fact that Addison won that battle and scored a touchdown, that's all on him too. All credit for that touchdown goes to Addison, which it should. And really none of it should go to Cousins. But Cousins gets this massive bump in his stat sheet for a very bad throw. So the Vikings need to do more of that, though. Need to go more downfield. Because you see what happens when they get deep into the opponent's territory. 7-0. They run straight up the middle with Alexander Mattison, get -1 yards. And at that point, I even wrote down on my note sheet, I wrote, this is where the Vikings never score a touchdown. Because they're up 7-0, they have a chance to go up 14-0. They will never, ever make the play to go up 14-0 in a situation like this. On second and goal, Cousins drops back, has, I think it was Addison wide open in the back of the end zone and just misses him. It's not a hard throw. Well, it was a hard throw. He threw it way too hard, number one. Bullet. Just was a horrible missed throw. You cannot miss that throw. You can't miss that throw. Like, you don't get many chances like that with the receiver open in the end zone that you can just miss it. Then in the second half, they got down to the 1 or 2 yard line. And they do this stupid rush up to the line and try a sneak. Like, you're, number one, you're not at the half yard line. Number two, when you rush up to the line like that, why don't you just hold up a sign that says, we're doing a quarterback sneak? Or just tell them. Just tell them, because they know what you're doing. You're making it obvious. And they get stuffed. And then what they got, then on second and goal, Bradbury just doesn't snap the ball. Like, everybody moves except Bradbury, from what I saw. I mean, this idiot Bradbury, how does that happen? So 5-yard penalty. So you're back at the 6, and then you dink your way to the 2 yard line on a dink pass, and then, I don't know, on third down, Cousins missed Madison, and, I think people wanted to blame Madison for, not stopping his route, maybe. It's always someone else's fault, right? But maybe Kirk threw it too late. But whoever's fault it was, multiple people are to blame on this offensive incompetence inside the 5 yard line. Two drives that turned into field goals. And without question, one of those had to be a touchdown. You had to convert one of those to a touchdown. So you should have had 26 points. I also maybe have one more lesson. When you are completely incompetent on Monday night for like 10 years, then you have one good game, that does not mean you are suddenly a very good Monday night quarterback. It also does not mean in the past you weren't terrible, right? Well, what are the Cousins haters going to say now? Well, we can just show you the footage of all the games where he sucked on Monday night the past 10 years. And are you just going to deny that those existed? Don't get your hopes up, people. When you're up 7-0 and you're at the 2 yard line at second and goal, and your quarterback can't punch it in when he has a wide open receiver, there's a reason. That's Cousins. You just never going to handily beat anybody with him. It's always going to be a coin flip. Now, a lot of it is coaching too. Kevin O'Connell's play calling near the goal line can just be idiotic. Run up the middle with Madison on first and goal, or sneak on first and goal from like the 2. And then late in the game, he starts playing for long field goals rather than trying to go for the throat. So you're just always stuck in this coin flip situation with him. Him and Cousins. Coin flip cuties. But the worst thing, of course, is Greg Joseph. How long's he been the Vikings kicker? Like 5 years now? Like who does he have pictures of? Who does Greg Joseph have pictures of? Hopefully not my wife. Probably has pictures of my ex-wife. Who doesn't? And it's like Kevin O'Connell keeps sending him out there on these long field goals. And Kevin O'Connell is just like your typical Vikings fan who sees Kirk Cousins have one good game on Monday night and thinks, oh, he's now a great Monday night quarterback. Kevin O'Connell sees Greg Joseph make that 54-yard kick. I think it was in the fourth quarter. And immediately forgets about every kick Greg Joseph has ever missed. And so when the time comes later in the fourth for another 50-yard field goal, he's like, oh, he's going to make this. So I will run up the middle on 3rd and 10 and just settle for a 50-yard field goal attempt from Joseph because he made one earlier, so he's going to make this one. It's like, no. Our coach doesn't recognize that. Our coach doesn't go for the throat. Our quarterback doesn't like to go for the throat. But Brian Flores does, so at least they're fun to watch. Our awards for this week, the traumatic flashback of the week, that was I forget when that play was. I think it was the second quarter, and this play ended up getting called back on a penalty, but I forget who it was, but I think Cousins threw it to the left side, a lateral to somebody, who then threw it back towards where Cousins was, and so I totally thought it was like this pass back to Cousins like they did in that Giants playoff game. I just started to my butt cheeks clenched, and I almost had a heart attack. Like how that guy almost attacked me after I'd eaten at Hooters. I mean, as I was walking by Hooters, of course got called back because KJ Osborne was blocking too early because he's an idiot. My ex-wife at one point being a tracked award for something I'm pretty sure I hallucinated. That I think also was in the second quarter where I think it was Cam Akers caught a screen pass, and it was set up so perfectly, and the defense was so fooled. It was like a old Vikings defense where they all nobody blocks the pass rushers, and the pass rushers have no instincts for anything, and they just think, oh, well, they're just going to let us sack the quarterback. But it was set up so perfectly, they were so fooled, and it got them down to the 2, and then the Vikings got a field goal. The Laquan Treadwell impression of the week, that goes to George Kittle, who in the third quarter, the 49ers got nowhere near a first down. It was at least a yard short of a first down. He's signaling first down.
He's going to be short.
Sort of like Laquan Treadwell liked to do. The award for a man who will never have children. Hopefully I'm like him, that I'll hopefully never have more children, but that goes to George Kittle, who took one of the most direct crotch shots ever from Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith always playing it clean. The Tomsky impression of the week, basically the impression of me, that was Kevin O'Connell in the third quarter when he said this to Kirk Cousins. And we also had a Moab sighting, but this week it was very bizarre. It was the opposing defense of the 49ers, who seemed like the least Moab-like inclined defense in the world. And it was in the first quarter. They just kind of dropped everybody, left the middle of the field wide open, and big gains. So anyway, it was a good game. I think it continues to prove our defense is solid. Our defense is improving. The offense still, Alexander Madison, KJ Osborne, maybe they can hold it together long enough to get Jefferson back late in the year and make the playoffs.